boys were awesome yesterday. They now have the honour, after winning the Baker's Blitz, for setting off first. The Syndicate off to a great start and charging hard. They have the smooth water. Oh, whoa. Syndicate! The rudder or something has come adrift and it's gone off. My goodness.
Thanks, Dave. Beautiful conditions here again for day two. Day one shaped up beautifully. The weather was nice. The river's pretty good. Okay, the water's high. Maybe not race day conditions to go after that record today. But let's go and see how things played out yesterday during the Baker's Blitz and see who's going to line up and start off pole today. Oh, Tommy.
Over at probably 90 miles an hour. Now, the boys are honking.
One corner and he's home.
Is this good enough? There's the finish line. Is the time good enough to win the Southern 80?
Last year it was Mark Cranny and his team Hellraiser winning the Southern 80, but this is race day in the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80. I'm Dave Bishop, and joining me in commentary this weekend is Sean Hensherwood.
Pleasure to be here, Dave. Fantastic weather conditions. It's beautiful. The mighty Murray's copped a fair hiding over the last couple of months. We're here a couple of months later than we should have been. The traditional date for the Southern 80, of course, is February. It's April, but today's race day. Yesterday we had a fantastic Baker's Blitz. It set up the qualifying positions and the starting positions for today, the Southern 80. Let's go and see how yesterday panned out and who's going to start off pole position.
Well, the Baker's Blitz, the Beechworth Bakeries Baker's Blitz, in fact, is the shootout for Superclass to determine who starts on pole position. Mark Cranny away at number one as a result of his last year's win, and he was very, very keen to run a good number on this ever-changing Murray River. Of course, Mark owning property on the river and knows the course very, very well. We know that because his last year's winner, Damien Matthews, there working overtime. They did a great job. Then Blazin got up and away. And this was the guy that really wanted to try and make a big fist of this year's Southern 80. He's been knocking on the door for such a long time. He wanted to have a crack. We saw some fantastic footage. Blown Cash having a boat problem, running in a little bit wide and losing Chris Taylor, and subsequently losing MacGyver, Mickey Gunther there on the outside as well. More problems too for Team Gasser. Dave Bradford and his crew losing a turbocharger late in the race and would be unable to start today. Then the Mayhem crew, they had a cracking run. They came through and posted a fantastic 6:55, came in third position. Mark Cranny blasted down the course on his way and swept around the last corner. He was trying to lay down the number one position, and he had the number one on the boat. Wasn't to be, as he came through with a time of 6:49. The man that was going to do the business was this man here, Noel Griffin. Bernie Simpson in the observer's seat, Grant Turner and Christopher Stout. They came through in a cracking 6:46 to take the win and claim pole position for the race today, the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80. Gasser coming through in fourth, Superman, Top Gun, Sapphire Racing, the B rounding out the field, and unfortunately a DNF for Blown Cash.
No problems for Blazin up front though. Noel Griffin and his team will be very excited as they head towards race day. Of course, 2 years ago, before the fires cancelled the event, this was the position they were starting from. Can they do it today? Let's go and talk to Noel and see what he thinks as he heads towards the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80.
We worked hard to get there yesterday. We had a few little issues with fuel mixtures, but we've had a bit of a play around there and we hope we got it right. And being first away is a big help. So
also got experienced skiers. Do you feel like they put a good performance in yesterday?
Yeah, the skiers are the guys that done the job yesterday. I took them through some corners that a lot of blokes wouldn't have got through. So I mean, the better you know the course, and as we all know, Mark knows it really well. So I've just got to work hard today.
What's unique about the Southern 80 course?
Well, you've got in excess of 120 bends in an 80-kilometre course. I'm not sure of the exact amount. I'm sure my opposition know. But it's a critical factor as to how quickly you can get through those bends. I mean, a third of a second, a bit of a second here or there with so many bends, just it makes or breaks the race. And the skiers the skiers in the top boats have all got the same skills, particularly in a course like this. And it's critical that you can get through the corners. I mean, coming into them, knowing the real tight ones, because the real tight ones, I know last year in the Baker's Blitz, when I got beaten in the Baker's Blitz last year, I lost 3 seconds at Dead Man's Corner. And so that cost me the race. So that's how critical it is.
Chris, your experience at the Southern 80, what does it take to win?
I guess you need everything on the day. You need the water, the boats to hold up, your partner to hold up, just everything to come together.
Great result in qualifying. You're in pole now. Has that given you confidence to win this race?
Yeah, definitely. We're in this position 2 years ago and we never raced because of the fires. So it was it's something that for 2 years we've wanted to be back here. So yeah, we're really happy.
And what would it mean to win?
There's only 2 races that you really want to win. This is one of them.
You've also got the Worlds coming up. Has that put you in good conditioning with your training?
Yeah, the training's been going well. A lot of racing as well, a lot of good hour races. So this sort of stuff's pretty easy.
Team Blazon sounding confident there, but keeping a lid on things because they know that Team Hellraiser are here to win this event as well. We caught up with the team principal and driver, Mark Cranny.
Mark, some very tight results from qualifying between you and Blazon. What expectations do you have today?
Yeah, look, it's always going to be close and it'll be close again today, but today, we've just got to make a bit of ground up on him.
You're very experienced at the Southern 80. What do you expect along the course?
Look, the river's still flowing pretty hard. A few trees down. We just got to be careful and keep it clean.
And what are your expectations of the skiers? Are they feeling very confident today?
Yeah, our skiers will be right. I think it was a job to be done. I think we're capable of doing it.
Peter, what's your plan for today?
We just got to get away nice and clean, good start, and really just to get away and run down Blazon. They're starting in front of us, so if we can get some time up on them down the river, that'll be enough for us to win.
Only 3 seconds between you in the qualifying, and that makes it very tight racing.
Yeah, it is going to be close. I think obviously they're a major competition. They had a really good run yesterday. We just got to clean up our act a little bit on everywhere down the river, and I think we'll do enough to win. Look, I don't know my way around here very well. We're from New South Wales, but the crew, they'll keep an eye on all that. They know the river exceptionally well, and yeah, I just got to keep my eye on what's coming down the river.
Jason, what have you learnt from qualifying?
Basically, we just got to go hard today, and it's a long race today. It's 30 minutes. It's not 6.5, and I think the race will be won at the probably back end of the field today, the back end of the run. So we just got to go hard the whole way and hope for the best.
Are you feeling fit? I know you've had an injury recently.
Yeah, I think we're fit enough. This sort of race doesn't really bother the injury so much. So yeah, we should pull up fine, I think.
And you're in good spirits? You've got confidence on your side?
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good to go. We've got a good crew, and Mark knows the river well, so yeah, we feel pretty safe out the back.
Justin, what do you think you learnt from qualifying yesterday?
That I guess it wasn't right for today, so I was pretty lucky to get on with these guys.
And Daniel, do you think you've got the confidence to get through it today and be in the top 3?
I think so, yeah. With Justin, he's a good skier and we were lucky to pick him up. And the boat went really well yesterday and Darren's driving it as well as he ever has. So, I think we're really in a shot for definitely a place, if not possibly a win.
Do you think the course is suitable for your sort of boat?
It's a big boat. It could be on the borderline of being just a little bit big for this course, but everywhere else in the country it's brilliant. But I think we can still do the job.
Danny, only 9 seconds between the top 3 from qualifying. Are you feeling confident today in Mayhem?
It's. I thought it was a little bit closer yesterday, but 9 seconds is fine. The old guys will keep them honest today.
And what is it you can do differently today to put the pressure on?
We'll be pretty quick, like most of the way, where these guys are real hard down the straights, a little bit slower in the corners, where we'll be running pretty hard just about everywhere to keep that pace up. Our boat's probably nowhere near as quick as these other guys, so yeah, we'll be there somewhere.
Skiing today, but you're also an experienced driver. Talk us about the course and what are the different areas that you have to look out for?
It's just the river. It's the Murray. It's one of those rivers that are just amazing, and you've got to try and keep centre by chopping the corners, and you've got to keep it safe for your skiers. We had a couple of little issues yesterday, which were close, but hey,
that's what happens. That's the river.
Scott, as an observer, you're facing backwards. What's it like when you're tearing down the Murray River?
Yeah, look, it's quite exciting. It's very hard. We don't sort of know where we are in the river. You try and familiarise yourself with it, the night before. But you sort of concentrate on the skiers, where they are and all that. But and then you sort of get thrown in a corner. So it's quite exhilarating. It's really good fun.
Have you got any secret codes between you and the skiers?
Yeah, no, look, you've got your general up and downs and things like that. But you can you've got to watch them pretty carefully, because sometimes they're hanging on so tight they really can't let go and give you signals. So that's when you sort of advise the driver on what he needs to do. So yeah, it's challenging.
In what was a fantastic weekend of racing, and obviously the major focus on the superclass category, that's where all the fans were. But there's been some terrific class racing over the weekend as well. Some standout performances included Sports Page with a 4th outright out of the 8 litre category, running a 33.20. Dean Johns, Aaron Martin, Steve Berry and Michael Kelly were the crew there, and that was an unbelievable run, really shaking up some of the bigger boats ahead of them. 6 litre category as well was another outstanding effort. Ultra troublemaker Scott Nines, Stewie Horn, Jason Cartledge and Dylan Stevenson, they ran down the river in a 35.03. The 2 outboard classes that are so close and so competitive, the SMOC Expert category. SMOC stands for Standard Motor Open Cockpit, although a lot of people like to call it secretly modified, and obviously cheating. That's not the case with these 30-odd boats that ran down the course. But Brad Groves, a local boy, in his force hull Silent, broke the long-standing record of trying to get down the river in under 40 minutes, and this was his year to do it. Towing James Walker and his son William Groves, the observer in the boat was Simon Kerwood. Silent cracked down the course in a 39.35 to not only win SMOC category but also break the record in that class and be the first single rig SMOC boat to go down to the course in under 40 minutes. Thundernuts in the F2 category smoked the course, not quite getting Todd and Rick Kelly's record from the previous year behind Esky Mojo, but a very, very slick 40.05 saw the Cameron, Kenworth Cox, Andrew McKinnon, Bretty Dominks and Anthony Pickles doing a fantastic job in the beautiful carbon fibre velocity hull. That was a fantastic effort. There was also some unbelievable drama in the 2.7 litre category. Young Alex Hanley, who actually purchased his father's old race boat and put it back on the water in what was to be his first race. Unfortunately, we saw a big crash from him as he came round the Marul boat ramp end and hit a log. The boat nosedived, turned left and went up into a tree. Fortunately for Alex and his crew, they were okay. Unfortunately though, the boat was totaled, and devastation for that crew. Unlimited outboard is another fantastic category that seemed to dry off over the last few years, but this year's come back with a vengeance. We've seen some fantastic boats being put together in sheds, some big twin rigs, which everybody loves, the twin engines on these boats, and the short trunks and the quick feet for the technically minded. Winning Unlimited Outboard Cyclone Racing too, Peter Randall, Jason Disson, Shane Floyd and Craig Gordon did a fantastic job just ahead of Too Wild and Still Smirking, the brand new twin rig at Bernico out of Mildura. Fantastic effort by those guys as well. 2.7 litre category is probably the class that's at the small end of the outboard classes, and the team that has won and run so many races is Team Satan. They've come through, didn't quite break the record that they set in 2008, running a 43.03. They've had a fantastic win ahead of In Excess and No Fear. The mock category is modified outboard class, and these are the guys that love to hot up their outboard engines and scream down the mighty Murray River, and we had some very strong competitors. The class over the last couple of years went back to some stock 300 horsepower engines, but a few of these guys have now got hold of these engines and really starting to develop them. The guy that did a great job was Johnny Vesley with his team Mark Robinson, Damien Bingham and Andrew Morgan to bring the Category 5, the 19-foot Cyclone home with the big 3-litre Mercury Racing engine on the back of that boat, just ahead of streamlined boat covers and Running Wild. Well, that's what was happening in all the support classes, but let's get back to the main game now, and let's go and have a chat with Gregory Houston about what it takes to build and run one of these superclass boats.
Okay, well, the power plant in a superclass boat, all based on a Chevrolet engine. These are all a NASCAR block, and this engine's 540 cubic inches, and it's a twin turbocharged motor. It's got the Garrett turbos, which are fantastic turbos, and which run through our intercooler again, which is Garrett intercooler. And then we run down through our fuel injection system. These are fuel injected, Motec injection, and you can see all our injection rails down through here. And these boats at full song consume around about 7.5 to 8 litres of fuel a minute. They run on aviation fuel, 100 octane aviation fuel, and produce anything between 14 to 1600 horsepower, depending what setup you've got and who your mechanics are. So, mate, they're serious engines, and they're probably the biggest buzz you get when we're sitting here. My head is right here, and I've got this engine 12 inches behind me, and it's a great sound and a great feel. They're beautiful, and you know when they're on song, it's just the best. As I said, these are power. The back runs off power steering, and we've got power steering down through here. There's our reservoir and pumps, and our fuel rails down through here. These are our fuel lines running into the engine, and we've got the world's largest radiator. We suck all our water straight from whatever we're on, whether it be the bay or the river, and all comes through our water pumps here. And we've got water pumps built in the water pickups built in the bottom of the boat, and that's our water feed to the engine. And we run them through oil coolers, transmission coolers. Coolers for the stern drive, so our water, we're cooling everything. Everything's running at maximum, so we have the advantage of having so much water. Our cooling system is amazing, you know. We filter that water as it comes through at the back of the engine there. You might see the weed traps we've got down the back here, because we do have a lot of debris in the water, so we have run 2 weed traps which filter the water before it gets into the engine, and obviously massive amounts of water running through our intercooler, which helps make us make so much horsepower. The street guys might not quite understand. I mean, they'd love to have it in a drag car, but the reason we can make so much horsepower for such a long period of time is the amount of water we can pass through these intercoolers and keep the engine, the charge of the fuel charge so cold, and which helps us make that much horsepower. And because there'd be some guys out there wondering how we do that. But that's technology which everyone uses these days. And mate, electronics, I mean, is a big part of these engines now with Motec and Alltronic and proud Australian companies, both of them, and we run both systems in our boats. We run Alltronic in the Conley and Motec in this one, and you might even see we've got the cowling off this one at the moment, and actually down the back you can see the computer. They've just had it out. We haven't actually put it back in position. You can just see the gold box sticking its nose out down there. It gets sealed back up underneath there shortly, and the boys have been doing a bit of work. But we run through our mufflers. We're probably one of the first teams, the TSR team and Malcolm, to run mufflers on boats, on turbocharged boats. And they're so quiet, you think you're in the family car. They're fantastic. So, but all the other teams now have followed suit, and which is great for the sport. Keeps us environmentally friendly with the people out there, and we can keep the decibels down. But the engine management system is amazing, and the wiring system on it is all high-spec military wiring. I mean, you can even see from all these senders and everything else, they're all over it. I mean, it's everything's monitored, air temperature, ambient air temperature. We know where we are, GPS tracked. It measures water temperature, water pressures in the gearboxes, everywhere. It's unbelievable, the feedback we get. Superclass used to be if you had a 671 blower sitting on top of a 454 with a couple of Dominator carburetors, you're a superclass, and you battle to do 100 mile an hour. I mean, 100 was, everyone spoke about the magic 100, and everyone said the boat did 100, but trust me, there weren't that many out there who really did do 100. But in saying that, the skis were short and the ropes, the gear wasn't there, so they were doing it just as hard as what our boys are doing it today. Don't get me wrong, it's just different eras, But the technology moved when we first went turbocharging, and we all bought engines from America, turbocharged motors. I remember myself buying an ex-Suddenly motor off Billy Dunsmore, which was a proud moment for me. I had a turbocharged motor, one of the first. But Malcolm Priest was already building these and developing them early on, and then when we hooked up with Malcolm and we got really serious, and we put a lot of research and development into these, and we're very proud of our motors. They're very reliable, and and beautifully presented, and very, very simple. I mean, we lift this motor out of this boat in 40 minutes, sitting on the ground, gearbox, everything lifts out, and then we can put the spare engine, which is exactly the same, go straight back in. So we can do an engine change in probably hour 10 without a problem.
We'll be back after the break with more action from the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80. Welcome back to the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80. It's time for the unlimited inboards, and courtesy of a great run yesterday, it's big Colin McQuinn away first in chief.
Yeah, Sean, Cole had a fantastic run yesterday, and we should explain the President's Dash does set pole positions for these guys. President's Dash is made up of quite a lot of classes, mostly unlimited boats. We also get some open women's boats and some junior categories in there as well, but this certainly sets the scene for these guys to go away in their pole positions in the race, main race here today, as we watch Omen get up and away with a clean start for those guys as well. Big Revolution, the twin turbo deal again, Mercury number 6 drive on that boat, and looks like a clean start there for big Mickey Brooks as we just see him in the driver's seat there, Sean.
It's a nice clean run for these guys. He's missed a couple of big races this year, doesn't do all the classics. Admits though that being a man from Ballarat, he's got a lot of property in the area. He would never miss the Southern 80.
No, he loves it out there. Matty Brooks, his son, of course, and Carl Wilson, both very, very handy skiers in their own right, and they are up and about. Now we've got Elm Street getting up and away. We saw a fantastic run, Danny Timewell at the wheel of the Elm Street. That's the F1 force boat getting up and away, Sean.
Part way along the course, and I can't see Chief. Something's gone on there. Collie looks like he's disappeared.
Oh, that's early in the piece to have lost big Cole McQuinn after such a fantastic run yesterday, and not getting very far down the track at all, Sean. That's going to be disappointing for the whole Chief crew there.
A lot of movement off the line there from Agitator, getting away pretty fast, I'd say there, Dave.
Yeah, Agitator's had a fantastic start as well, and we expect that from these guys. They're unlimited, they're very professional runners. Observer in this boat is also the owner of the boat, Peter Strike. Elm Street just weaving its way there through a right-hander, and they look like they're having, Kane Howard giving a big up down through that right-hander. He wants to get going. Temper away now, Sean.
Another 21-foot Everingham, more in the older style of boat, but modern style engine, twin turbo.
Yeah, fantastic bit of gear this boat. Span it out at Nankervis Marine at Lake Epilock in Victoria, and towing Troy Barons and big Jared Atkins, I should say, as they just watch Agitator sweeping through that right-hander as well. And now we go on board with the Agitator. PFM, twin turbo, Priest Family Marine engine in this boat. It's a 21-foot superclass hull Mercury number 6 drive, Sean.
Adrian Pickering, of course, ex-observer in Superman, sitting alongside Darren Stewart there, making up some serious time.
Yeah, the Agitator, Darren Stewart, and this is the big deal for him. He has to drive this boat and drive the wheels off it as we watch Elmy come through there as well. This is a fantastic job by Danny Timewell, the driver of this boat, as it looks like last straight they're coming down through there now, Sean, but he's hasn't driven this boat a lot, and brand new deal for these guys, and it looks like yet they've been caught by the Agitator too, so they are on a hard charge, Sean.
And of course these guys start 30 seconds apart.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a pretty big gap to make up. And Elm Street comes through, gets the job done. But I tell you what, the Agitator boys are going to be pretty happy with this arrangement, because when you see those the washers in front of you, Sean, and you see the ripple, and then you know you're catching a boat, well, the horns start to come out and the whole crew.
Gives you the sniff, and there it is, Agitator across the line. In the end, they came out on top. Stunning time there, 32.41, very competitive. Elm Street second, Temper third, the Judge hung on for fourth, and Liquid Force was fifth.
So with the king of the Murray River, Jamie Oliver, and his partner, Zach Welsh, behind Agitator, taking out Unlimited, this leaves us open now, Sean, to slide straight into the main event for the weekend. It is the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80 Superclass.
Look at that amazing crowd on the bank. The weather's beautiful, a little bit cooler in the morning, but everybody's fired up, ready to go. The Hellraiser team, not too fast. They qualified second yesterday, missed out by 3 seconds to Noel Griffin, Bernie Simpson, Grant Turner and Chris Stout, who sit on pole. Mayhem third, of course, Superman fourth, Top Gun, Sapphire Racing the B, and Blown Cash.
And Blazon gets up and away. And Noel Griffin, he'll be loving this, Sean. Look at that beautiful glass water. Bernie Simpson in the observer seat puts his fist in the air, and the boys lay over into the first sweeping left-hander on this magnificent Mighty Murray River course. And those conditions just look absolutely ideal for a very, very fast run. Of course, with the flood, Sean, too, the track's a little bit narrower in some places because some trees have fallen in, but it's also a little bit wider in a lot of other places where there's plenty of water around at the moment.
And what does that do to your advantage, Dave Bishop? You've run this course over the last couple of days. Where does it actually close up and make it harder? Does it change the dynamic or the advantage that someone like Mark Cranny would have?
Oh, look, it certainly will, and I'm just looking at these water conditions, Sean, and as a skier and a driver myself, I can't help but feel the hair stand up on the back of my neck because this is absolute glass-like water now, and Noel Griffin will just be pinching himself at the moment because he's got everything in front of him. A big sheet of glass, some beautiful 126 hairpin bends, and he is charging his way down the Mighty Murray River. But certainly, mate, yes, it does. It changes the dynamic of the race in a lot of ways. As I said, a lot tighter in some spots, but there's also some more run out in some other spots if you come in a little bit hot. Mark Cranny, Damien Matthews, Pete Proctor and Jason Walmsley get up onto the plane, Sean.
Well, this will be interesting. The job's in front of them. It's only a few seconds, but this man knows what he's doing. This team know what they're doing. And, of course, this is part of Superclass, isn't it? Building a team that can challenge for outright victory in such illustrious events as the Southern 80.
Beautiful team, and I tell you what, two beautiful boats. These boats nearly identical, Sean. Obviously, two different engine builders in these camps, but very, very similar combinations. Both force hulls, both Merc 6 drives, both twin turbo big blocks. Have a look out the boat now. You can see the ripple on the water, Sean. Noel Griffin's not getting that, and this is why you want to be position one away. Have a look at Damien Matthews. Concentration, absolutely, as he hangs out the side of the boat. Not a lot of words getting spoken in the boat at the moment. They know what they've got to do. Have a look at the tacho on that Motec dash. It's right up into the red line as well, Sean.
And talking to Pete Proctor just before the race, he said he loves racing with this team because one thing that Mark Cranny does is he thinks about his skiers. He thinks about how he needs to position the boat, where it sits in the water and what the wake's like out the back, because it's all important for them to be as quick as this boat can be to go after those record times and go after victory.
Mayhem up and away, and you're absolutely right, Sean. I mean, this is a ski race. It's not a boat race. Some people get that confused. The driver and the observer and the boat are a tool to do a job for the skiers as they blast their way down the Mighty Murray River. This is a fantastic story. Mayhem. Mark Doherty, Scotty Wilson in the boat, and big Kevin Vartrick and Danny Cropper, ski racing royalty out the back of this boat.
Of course, these guys had a very rough run last year in Syndicate. The boat didn't come through after setting top time in the Baker's Blitz. They'll be looking to try and make amends here this weekend. Looks beautiful out the back there. The water conditions are fantastic. The weather's beautiful. You got to love this place.
Oh, Sean, where else would you want to be? There's nothing happening in anywhere else in the world at the moment. The Southern 80 ski race, that's where you need to be. Sponsored by Club Marine. Mayhem now. This boat is exactly the same hull design as the Syndicate that the boys skied behind last year. They had a great run yesterday. The boys from Mayhem had their own problems going down the course last year, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But these guys just want to have a clean run here today. They've done a great job yesterday. Hellraiser sweeping its way through a left-hander now, Sean.
You can see the twists and turns in this Mighty Murray River and the way the boat's just skating across the top of the water there. But of course, Dave Bishop, this boat is the same as the boat out front at Blazon. The way they sit in the water, the amount of ballast they carry in the tanks, the position and the weight and the height of the boat would be very similar.
Yeah, look, these force boats are a beautiful design, Sean, and, you know, obviously they've proven themselves in this type of racing. Have a look at the lines Mark Cranny's running, and this is the part where you need to know the river, and he knows. And what the important thing that he knows is, Sean, is not coming into a corner, but he knows what's on the other side of the corner, and he knows how far he can let the boat run out. And we've seen boats this weekend pitching and a little bit of conversation going on there too. Cranny just adjusting a couple of things on the dash, but we've seen boats have a couple of what we call hooks, which is where the hull bites in the corner and isn't smooth. What happens then? Skier gets slack rope, you can end up with a problem. This is where Cranny is so smooth and so good. Superman, Sean.
Another force hole. This is the F1, the bigger 23-footer. Got the guys out the back ready for a start, waiting for a countdown. And they're off.
Mate, this is where you really, the palms are sweaty and you want to get going. This is a critical bit. This is where you want to get the ropes out and get going. Superman up and away. Skiers come. Oh, there's a problem here, Sean. There's a problem. Skier on the outside has lost his handles. And that just mate, you may as well park it up in Superclass because no one lets you have a mistake like that and get away with it.
On board, Steve Madsen. He's grabbed the red flag. He's just said to Darren Maguire, that's it, mate. We're going to turn around. We've dropped a skier, which is just drama off the start. That's devastating.
Oh, mate, that just doesn't happen in Superclass, and that's just really is And I can tell you, from a boat driver point of view, there's a fair bit of anger and red mist coming over the goggles right now. But in reality, their race is over. They can get down to the finish line and try and do it, but they know that the competition's too hot and too strong at the Southern 80 to make a mistake like this. Let's have another look at it, Sean. Not quite sure what happens here. Maybe got a little bit of slack rope, I should say, as the skier there handles go in, and he is shattered as he sinks back into the water, Sean.
What do you do there, Bisho? Do you pack up and go home? You say, that's it, I'll just get back on the ramp and go? Or do you continue on?
Well, in reality, yeah, you would pack it up and go home. I don't think the boys will. I think they'll want to run this course. They're here to race, and hey, anything can happen in this race too. You know, they could even jag a place if they can get up and going down the river if there's a high attrition rate in this race this weekend. You just don't know. But, you know, in reality, they were here to race, and they will know their race is pretty much done and dusted, Sean. Blazing its way down this glass-like mighty Murray River. Noel Griffin, he has been desperate to win this race for so many years. He owns plenty of property around the area. He's a guy that has done the Southern 80 for many, many years in V-drive boats, in let loose, cut loose, wildfire, you name it. He has had many, many ski race boats, and now he's burning and blazing boats. He's up and about, and this is probably the biggest chance he's ever had, Sean.
Russell Lewis away in Top Gun with Christopher Gill alongside, an experienced campaigner himself, as they go past Superman, who are trying to regroup and have another run. Of course, Grant Patterson and James Booser at the back. We saw those dramatic shots of Grant Patterson last year at the Sydney Bridge to Bridge on the back of Stinger, came off at quite high speed, did himself a bit of injury, took him a while to heal up. Unfortunately, Stinger not here this weekend, one of the other main contenders in this super class. So Grant's jumped onto the back of Top Gun, and they could be in a great position to pick up a place here.
Well, this is a 21-foot Connolly crafted, sporting a number 6 Mercury drive again, twin turbo, very, very similar combination to a lot of the top boats. This boat, I would have to guess and say at least 20-odd years old, but as we said yesterday, Sean, it is one of the most immaculately prepared Connolly crafts you'll ever see. Russell Lewis at the wheel, and one of the greatest superclass skiers ever to pull the racing rail on in the observer seat, Chris Gell as well. So they'll be pretty confident with Chris sitting in there looking after him as well.
Tim Pickford, Sapphire, they're having a fairly major drama. It's a bit like a car park down here at the start of the race.
Well, this just doesn't happen in Superclass. And Sapphire, this is incredible. Andy Glover in the observer seat, Aaron McWalder and Tommy Smith, and both those guys absolute superstar skiers. And how often do you see Superman and Sapphire parked up in the start line? Timmy Pickford, there'll be steam coming out of his ears at the moment. Shorty won't be happy.
Well, some of the guys were joking beforehand about broken ropes, and there only appears to be one rope there, Bisho. Something's gone awry in this little equation.
Yeah, so Superman now, and they're trying to get their acts back together, and you can just see what sort of a disaster it turns into, Sean, when it does go pear-shaped. Here's an on board from Sapphire, so let's see what happened. Looks like the skier on the right, and look at Andy Glover. He's punching the ground. He has absolutely cracked it. He's a big man too. I wouldn't want to be around him when he's angry, Sean.
This is disappointment. Of course, this has happened to them already. It happened to them at the Sydney Bridge off the start. Yeah. Very, very disappointing. I mean, new ropes. How do these things happen?
Oh, look at Andy Glover there. They call him Bear, Sean, and there's a reason for that. He's a big man, and he's not a happy man. As all sorts of things are getting thrown around in the cockpit of that boat, and we shouldn't laugh. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's another race, and these guys will pick themselves up and get going again, as too will Superman. So they're getting their ropes run out, and you just see what a muck around it is to try and get back together. And you know, with the competition like Hellraiser, blazing, already blasting their way down the river, Top Gun, you just can't afford to make mistakes like that, Sean.
It's all over. It makes it very, very difficult. Again, as you said, it's an 80-kilometre race. There's 35, 40 minutes up your sleeve that anything can happen. You want to keep at it, and I gather the only way to get experience in these classes is to keep skiing. If you go home early, nobody's gained anything out of that, so you might as well just throw the ropes out the back, get the skiers on their feet, and away we go.
Yeah, look, they want to get going again. They want to use this as a test in June Day, basically. And, you know, I guess the driver, and there's young Errol Ricks just putting his hand up. They've got a great start in the B. Have a look at the slop through the start area. Now, this is from all the two boats doing their turnarounds. And the B jumping and leaving. Now, that hurts their start time. They've had to just go easy on the skiers. Observer would have been saying to Errol, just keep it real through here, keep it good, because we don't want to be getting on the gas too early and pulling the boys on their heads. They certainly don't expect any holes here at the Southern 80 like they would in a lake race. Beautiful start from the B, though.
Another reason why, as they say, it's so critical to get that pole position, that fastest time in the Baker's Blitz on the Saturday. To make sure you avoid that, you've got clear water, as we've seen graphically from the helicopter, that Noel Griffin has beautiful water in front of him. On board with Michael Gunther. What a great shot.
Oh, Mickey MacGyver Gunther, and we also saw helmet cam there from inside the boat. Graham Watts, they call him the General, Sean, and he observes in Greggy Gunther's beautiful blown cash. It's a super class hull. Mercury 6 drive. It's also got the Mercury 1075 racing package. But see the line Greg's had to run there. See all this sloppy water on the inside. He's trying to avoid that and give his skiers a good run through there. But it has hurt his race line, so he'll be wanting to get on the gas as soon as he can. Here we go on board, Sean.
That's that new big Merc 1075 with the Merc 6 drive out the back.
Yeah, that's a beautiful boat, and these boys had a problem yesterday, Sean. We weren't quite sure what had happened. In fact, just looking there, we're seeing some wash in front of these guys, so they've obviously got up and going behind one of the boats that has maybe been slow to start. So this is going to impact on their run here. So it'll be interesting to see how the boys can go. On board with Mickey Gunther. Now, as I was about to say, Sean, we saw a problem with these guys yesterday. We weren't sure what happened, but what actually happened, and we found out overnight, Greg had a little bit of a problem in the boat, a bit of a hook, came in a little bit close to the bank. Chris Taylor, who's a skier on the other side, came into the trees and opted to bail out, as you would. And then we saw Mickey Gunther having to throw his handles and stopping as well. So these guys are going to be looking for a better run here today.
A little bit further forward, of course, we don't have too many other boats stopped out in front. Having said that, we see Mayhem pulled up out in the middle of the river. They've had a drama. Their race looks like it's run, but nice and clear out there for Top Gun.
Yeah, really disappointing for the Mayhem guys, and we were really hoping for a clean run for them, weren't we, Sean? After all sorts of dramas through both those crews had problems last year, and put a team together, and a formidable team, absolutely, for those guys. And we thought we might have seen something special from them this weekend. Unfortunately, we did. Well, fortunately, we saw a great run from them yesterday, but unfortunately today, all over. What a fantastic camera angle on the big Hellraiser.
Well, one of the things we're talking about is finishing these races, and one thing that Hellraiser has done with aplomb this year is finish races. Been very consistent.
They have, Sean, and there's a key factor to that, and that is the crew chief, Stewie Thomas. They run a full in-house operation down there in Dandenong in Victoria at Team Hell. As we watch Pete Proctor on the outside, Jason Ziggy Walmsley, WC07, if you don't mind, Sean, hanging on the inside there, and a fantastic shot from, I would call it, intercooler cam, Sean.
It does look like intercooler cam. How's that helicopter? That is a mean-looking shot as he streams along behind the boys.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is an absolute event here, Sean. These guys, it's not just about the boats, although it is about the boats, the athletes out the back, but the whole event, the helicopters. What's going on here, Sean? We've got a serious problem. Have a look, there's a boat on fire on the left-hand side. We can see the skiers in the water, driver and observer in the water, and it's blazing on fire in the water. This is an absolute disaster, Sean.
This is incredible. You wouldn't expect that. Noel Griffin, after trying for 21 years, he gets to the front. He sets the top time in the Baker's Blitz, and now he's on fire.
Oh, this is devastating stuff. The beautiful Blazer machine is destined at this stage for the bottom of the Murray River. That boat is seriously on fire, and there's going to be no coming back from that, Sean.
Let's just have a look at Hellraiser as they approach the scene.
You can see the observers and the skier and the driver in the water, so hopefully they're all okay. But big plumes of smoke, and this is very, very devastating for the Blazing team. Welcome back to the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80 Superclass, and the scenes in front of us are absolutely shattering at the moment because Blazon, the boat that was number 1 away, Noel Griffin, Bernie Simpson, Chris Stout and Grant Turner are in the water. There's Noel there. He looks like he's okay. Let's have a look at the replay here, Sean. Coming down through, you can see and you can hear Cranny backs off and then gets back on the throttle. Damien Matthews puts a thumbs up. Now, when you're briefed at the start of the race, Sean, in this particular instance, they don't want you stopping because you've got another 400 litres of avgas on board your boat, and they have got safety crews on the course that are going to look after them. So Cranny's had a bit of a slowdown there, had a bit of a look, seen the boys in the water, obviously. They're all up and about, and they're continuing on to try and win this race, but that is just shattering for Noel Griffin.
After trying for so long, to be able to be so close, have the clear water in front of you, and to have a little issue like that. I mean, what does something like that? What ignites a fire? Fuel injection lines, something along the fuel system has let go in that boat.
Yeah, mate, there's so much going on in these boats. You know, anything could have happened, and we're obviously, it's just happened. We're not aware of what's gone wrong, but something catastrophic's gone wrong. The other thing that we should mention, I suppose, is that a few years ago that all ski racers, when drivers and observers, went to wearing fireproof race suits. So certainly glad that decision was made at the moment, Sean. Hellraiser coming through the one of the last bends here at the Marul Caravan Park, Sean.
Oh, it's looking good, isn't it, for the boys? Pete Proctor out the back, Jason Ziggy Walmsley. They've won this event before. They're the reigning champions. Can they do it again? Well, with their main competition sitting back on the river on fire, it looks mighty likely that that's going to happen.
As he tips the boat into the starboard turn, the last sweeping right-hander before you come into the sweeping left-hander for the finish line. That's the Marul straight away now as he comes down, firing away. Hellraiser, look at the beautiful glass-like conditions in front of him. The crowd at the finish line don't know the drama that's gone on, Sean, but Mark Cranny, Damien Matthews, Jason Ziggy Walmsley and Pete Proctor, the Dingo Doctor, they bring it home in fast time. Pete Proctor punches the air. He knows they've done a good number. Are they going to hold off the rest of the competition?
It'll be interesting to see. Top Gun here. Can they pick up? Chris Gell sitting alongside Russell Lewis with Grant Patterson and James Booser out the back there coming towards the line. You see Chris Gell trying to get it up, come on, grab a bit more time. What can we make out of this?
Yeah, the boys look really comfortable out the back, and Top Gun just sitting on the last few millimetres of the running plank on the planing surface of this boat. That means Russell Lewis has got this boat by the scruff of the neck, and he's absolutely wringing everything he can out of it as they bring it through. This is the last sweeping bend. This is a very high-speed bend, Sean. This is great fun if you're driving.
It looks great, and actually you could see Mark Cranny as he came through the final corner. He was still on it, still looking for that record. They're going against the flow of the river. It's going to be tough to see whether or not they can actually break the outright record. It'll be interesting to see, but Top Gun, a nice finish for the boys.
We'll be waiting on the time for Russell Lewis, Chris Gell, Grant Patterson and James Buser. Have a look at this. More dramas now in Superclass, and it is not Superman's day, Sean.
There's no superheroes in this lot right at the moment. What a lot of disappointment. This is a couple of times now that the skiers have been off the back. Frustrating run. When you're trying to build a team, trying to build a crew that can go after those outright wins, you need to make sure that you go start to finish in one run.
Well, mate, this is really unusual for these guys. You know, they have been really stamping their authority on a lot of races around the country. They haven't cracked that big win yet, but this is very, very unlike the Superman crew, and maybe even possibly a boat problem there. We're not sure yet, but the B now, Errol Ricks, just brings his beautiful Superclass down through here. Lindsay Dillon is the observer. Neil Ricks and Lukey Keys, the young gun, out the back as they storm it down the last Marul bend straight away, and a little bit of an up there from Rixie. They call him Coco amongst the fraternity, Sean, and they are good boys all the way down from Blackwater in Queensland.
That's a long way to come. They'd be very happy to get to the finish of this one. It's got to be consistency that's going to put guys on the podium today. Of course, looks like it's going to be a bit of a benefit again for Mark Cranny and the boys with Hellraiser, but behind them, anything still can happen as they cross the line there and record their their time.
Luke Keys and Neil Ricks. I tell you what, if you ever get the chance to see Neil Ricks's lizard impersonation, mate, I highly recommend it. Fantastic stuff. Superman blasts its way down the river, the big F21 force hull. This is a great shot of what lines that Darren Maguire is driving at the moment. Back on board now with Mickey Gunther. Oh, look at the rope go into the water there. So that's a hook from the boat. We spoke about that a little bit earlier on, Sean. That's what happens if the driver hooks the boat. The rope goes slack. The skier is actually going faster than the boat. Mickey, very experienced, dragged it out to his right-hand side, skied past it. The boat picked it up again. That's a great ski from Mickey Gunther right there.
Dramatic shots, shows just how hard the skiers are working. As you say, this is a skiers race. It's not necessarily a speed race. Okay, it's part of the team, but you can see Mickey Gunther really working hard to get the team to the finish there.
Another fantastic young skier, and we haven't spoken about him enough, is Chris Taylor on the far outside there, Sean. And Chris just gets the job done as they storm down the last straightaway. And that beautiful Mercury Racing package out of Melbourne in Victoria. Greg Gunther and the General Graham Watts in the observer's seat, and they bring the boat home. Look at the finish inside this boat. It's just absolutely beautiful. Off-the-shelf package from Mercury, one of these deals. Runs on pump fuel and just produces a lazy 1,075 horsepower, Sean.
That's not bad, and of course that's the absolute minimum for superclass in this day and age when you're talking guys like Noel Griffin with 1,600 horsepower.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, that's a nice number. I just running the guessometer at the moment, but I think Blown Cash has done a pretty good time there, so be interesting to see the official times. This is Superman now, and have a look. Yeah, there's a boat problem here, Sean. These guys are down to 40, 50 miles an hour now, and it looks like it's all over for Superman. Not their weekend this weekend at the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80.
Not their weekend, of course. This boat being the Force F1, not ideally suited to river racing. A little bit bigger than the F21s.
Yeah, look, it is a little bit bigger, Sean, but this particular boat is quite light, so it actually gets used. It was a very versatile boat. It runs in all the world selection type races. Looks like they've got a little bit more pace on it. Can be a little bit deceiving sometimes, but looks like they might have picked it up a little bit here for their run home, Sean.
Coming to the line now, Darren Maguire, Steve Madsen, Justin Cadden and Daniel Cotton. They'll be very happy to see that finish line. That'll be it for them for this year. We'll just see what the result is going to be. But with the boats dropping off like flies quite at the moment, there's not too many left in Superclass.
It's an interesting story too there. Justin Cadden, of course, skiing behind Gasser yesterday, and with Gasser having the problems that they had and not running today, Justin's obviously signed up behind Superman. So an interesting day out for the Superman crew, but they'll be pretty disappointed there. They would have expected a lot more, Sean.
Frustration, but they're at the end now. That's it. The weekend's over. They can wipe that one off and start again as we head towards the next event. But for the Club Marine Southern 80 in 2011, it's Hellraiser. 30.58, comfortably clear again of Top Gun, because that was the finishing position in the Sydney Bridge. Blown Cash through for third, ahead of the B and Superman. There was no records broken there, but they crossed the line in fifth.
Mark, a fantastic result for you. Were there a lot of flames ahead?
Yeah, poor old Noel. It didn't look good. But we seen Noel out of the boat and Simo out of the boat, so we just kept pushing on.
And you've been dominating this year. What do you put that down to?
Boys out the back, Damien, Stewie Thomas, our mechanic, just good crew.
Damien, as an observer, what was it like for you facing backwards?
Yeah, look, we took out pretty hard today because we knew Blazon was going to be hard to beat, but early in it was sad to see how big that fire was. I never seen anything like it, but the guys were out. So we sort of took a little bit of the risk out and just made sure we got home, and we got a reasonable time against the current.
Peter Proctor, you were going great guns out there. What was the run like for you?
Yeah, we had a good run. It's definitely a fast run down the river. Not a record time, but we were happy just to get here in one piece, and hopefully we've done enough now to win it.
Do you feel nervous when you go past a boat that's got flames?
Yeah, it's not a good sight never to see anyone on the side of the river, and definitely not under those circumstances. So, look, hopefully everybody's okay, which I think they are, and yeah, it's just a part of racing, unfortunately.
Mark Cranny's always talking you guys up. You've had a lot of experience together. What is it you think that makes you so dominant?
I think just that's about it. Everybody from Mark's mechanics, his crew, like the driver, observer, skier, we all do the best we can every weekend. We go away and do all the practice, and come these big weekends, I think that makes a difference.
2 more rounds to go in Queensland before you have the Worlds. Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, we're having a good run in that. That's a little different to running down here on these waters. But yeah, our team's going well, and Zig with Hellraiser is going well as well. So hopefully we both make it 1 and 2.
Russell, you had a few boats ahead of you that had trouble. What was going through your mind?
Oh, no doubt it's no good to see other fellas in trouble, but it sort of gets the blood pumping a bit better when you know that there's a couple more spots you don't have to make up. We had, I think, Superman at the start, and then we copped Mayhem a couple of corners into the race, and then as I was driving down the course I could see some black smoke and it didn't look really good, and then sort of a third of the race into it we've seen blazing on fire, which is pretty bad. I'm hoping that their skiers and everyone on their crew is safe, but then once we sort of got past that little hiccup, it was up to me. And it was quite good, quite enjoyable, sort of knowing that there's not too many other boats in front of you.
Did you feel you navigated the course best you could?
Yeah, I was down on myself yesterday because we went a bit slow in the Baker's Blitz, and I was beating myself up a bit, but had a good night's sleep and had a bit of a dig today.
And Daniel Patterson and James Booser put a good performance.
Yeah, Jimmy and Grano, they're terrific skiers, and it was good to get them back together. They won the race 2004, I think, from memory, but no, it's terrific, and I thank them both. And Chris, no doubt, in the observer seat, done a terrific job.
Grant, it looked like Top Gun were going flat out. Was the run good for you?
Yeah, the run was really good. Russell drove really, really well today. He sort of had a few butterflies yesterday, and he wiped the cobwebs out and drove really, really well today.
You look like you're shivering. Is that from the spray?
Yeah, it's not sort of the spray hits you that much. It's like needles hitting you. So yeah, I'm not cold, but I am, if you know what I mean.
Graham, as an observer, what's the most challenging thing for you?
Oh, just to keep the boat speed up. My role is to keep an eye on the skiers and communicate that to the driver. The driver's job is to steer the boat down as fast as he can, and I'm probably the link between the two. So yeah.
How long have Blue and Cash been together?
Look, I used to ski with Greg a number of years ago, and but this is our first year we've campaigned Blow and Cash. Last year it was Fast Cash for the last 3 or 4 years, but this is Blow and Cash's first Southern 80, yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of cash to be spent on these boats. Is it difficult to know when to stop?
Not for me, I don't pay the bills, and Greg seems to love it, so but everyone does. It's just the nature of the sport. It is a big dollar sport, but it's a lot of fun.
And that's all the action from the 2011 Club Marine Southern 80, but we're not over yet.
No, Sean, we've got some fantastic racing coming your way. The Mildura 100, and then we're looking at the qualification races for the World Championships as well.